the Dems are caving to the GOP when it comes to being in service to the people. This is the kind of stuff. See, that's why they ain't want me there, y'all. That is why they didn't want me there, because they know I was not gonna go along to get along just to preserve their positions when Big Mama and Big Papa can't preserve their position, or their children children in the hoods all over this country, whether they rural hoods, urban hoods, or suburban hoods. I'm seeing you, Flint, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio, Chicago, East Palestine, Ohio, Des Moines, Iowa. Let's start filling in the blanks here. These people don't give a damn about you, but this is it. And how, the debt ceiling debacle, that's what we're talking about now. The Democrats and Republicans have been doing this dance for so long. It happens over it continues to happen over many congressional sessions. Per usual, due to a lack of intestinal fortitude. If this wasn't a PG show, I would say something else, but y'all know what I'm getting at. Everyday Americans will continue to suffer the consequences, and centrist Democrats, true to form, are caving to the demands of the GOP without putting up a fight. And I don't believe they putting up a fight because they agree with these people. Because if they didn't, they would be out there shouting from the rooftops. The jet would be gassed up. But oh no, they agree with these folks. Let's put up this tweet right here. Joseph laid it out. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, 2 reporters. We're willing to discuss freezing spending at current levels. That's an inherently reasonable position many in our party might even be uncomfortable with. But President Biden recognizes we're in a divided government situation. Really? Is that what he recognizes and realizes? No, I think he recognizes and realizes that he's being true to form. This is who he really is. And then David Sirota, who leads the lever, called it out like this in his quote tweet on this. He said, if you're wondering why I'm focused on the NBA right now, it's because I'd rather watch the Nuggets beat the Lakers in a real contest than to watch the Washington Generals deliberately lose to the Harlem Globetrotters in a fake game whose outcome is predetermined. Now, I don't like David slamming on the Harlem Globetrotters, okay? I like the Harlem Globetrotters. They were doing their thing. See, they knew what their assignment was.
That's right.
But these folks here, but we get his point. Your thoughts?
So, I think that this whole positioning of American politics as it being the Democrats versus the Republicans, the GOP, whichever sector versus is very deceitful to the American people. The real battle that we're having is the American government versus the working person in this country and the people who are struggling with poverty. And the sooner we start accepting that these people are not your favorite basketball team, as he used in his quote. These people are public servants who work for us, who are not doing their job, and we are afraid to fire them. I don't know what is happening. We are not getting rid of these people. People don't care about you. There are very few people in our government who are non-negotiable. Bernie Sanders ain't never took $1. You ain't negotiable. That's what they're scared of. In order for us to have change, we're going to have to have. There's going to have to be revolution, and revolution is always being appropriated by violent minds as it being war. But revolution, the biggest revolution we can have is with our dollars and our votes, and getting rid of these people who don't care about us. What they fight for in that body of government, and what they continuously fight for is those checks. They want to keep the checks coming. A lot of these people are getting paid. Corporations are running this country, and the people are suffering. So I don't want to hear nothing that they gotta say when they get up here with these moderate talking points about we have to bring it to the other side and we have to hold hands and sing kumbaya. Y'all can afford to do all of it. You can afford to fight. You can afford to get along, because the average American is struggling to buy groceries and to go to the doctor without being in debt for the rest of their lives. We don't want to hear that.
There it is. We do not want to hear, but this is what you get with neoliberals. And I love what you said. We're afraid to fire these people. They need to be fire, because at the end of the day, they prove time and time again that they are not willing to take it into the paint, since we in basketball.
That's right.
On behalf of the American people. And this is really, really sad. I mean, come on now, France, they rise up in these other countries. They let them know million deep. You know, when their leader said we're gonna raise the retirement age from 62 to 64, millions of them people took to the streets. Yep. Over that, and he had to rig it to even raise it, but at least they let it be known that they wasn't gonna roll over and sit down and let their leaders just do any old thing to them. And in this country, we too complicit. You know, at first it was all about Trump. Let's get Trump out. If we get Trump out, we're gonna change material conditions. Well, baby, Trump is out. And material conditions are not changing. So Representative Hakeem Jeffries thinks freezing spending on domestic needs is inherently a reasonable position. So let me get this straight. A cut to social programs is reasonable, even though people can't, as you laid out, can't afford their groceries, their rent, their mortgage because of inflation and because of the greed of these multinational corporations. But he said it's inherently reasonable. Preserving the Trump tax cuts is reasonable to this dude. Destroying the environment is reasonable to this dude. We got a president who said when he was running that he was not going to allow drilling on public lands, and yet he has approved a project that is even worse than what Donald J. Trump did when he was in office. It's called the Willow Project. Letting the child tax credit expire is reasonable to this dude. Increasing the Pentagon budget is reasonable to this dude, because in his words, President Biden recognizes we're in a divided government. Well, Aida, I am old enough to remember that when he was running in 2020, he said he was the only candidate that could get the Republicans to do what it is that they needed to do to help the American people. And so far, none of that has happened. So America, the duopoly ain't working. It just is not working for any of us. It's not working for the needs of the American people. And y'all need to be over it. Just like Aida and I, we over it, man.
Yeah, it's a TV show. It's all, what is it? Political theater. And they give us content on a daily basis. We had a fight about this. This person said this person did this. Oh, Ilhan went in on this person. We are constantly watching this show, but the conditions of the people do not change. I don't care what anybody says. When people say, oh, but these people did this. The conditions of Black and brown people in this country have never improved to the degree that we have peace in this country, no matter who's been in office. So obviously your way ain't working. And when people say, oh, you're being extreme, we need to be honest and real about what's happening. The American people need to do what Israel, when they tried to say that we're extending this term, and Israel said we're not going to work tomorrow. Right. We're the only people in this country they keep us busy with fast food and television. We don't realize what's happening. No matter what changes on Twitter, nothing changes in real life. And that's the change that we need.
I know that's right. And when you say a revolution does not have to be bloody, and it doesn't, Minister Malcolm X, whose birthday we just celebrated on May the 19th, in one of his speeches, and I believe it was the ballot or the bullet speech, he said that we needed revolution. He did go on to say that he believed that in the United States of America, there was a possibility to have a bloodless revolution. And the thrust of that speech was really, telling Black folks, take control of your political power. I encourage everybody to go back and listen to that speech from Minister Malcolm X. If you listen to it and don't even realize the time period he gave that speech in, you would think that he was talking about right now. And I do agree with him. This is an opportunity for the people to rise up and for us to have a bloodless revolution. But nevertheless, we need a revolution. Hello, somebody on that.